Back in the mid-20 teens, Hafthor Bjornsson hired Stan Efferding to be his nutritionist, right? Stan Efferding was the founder of the vertical diet and put Hafthor Bjornsson on the vertical diet. But before they initiated the rise and surge to the point in which Hafthor Bjornsson ended up becoming the world's strongest man, deadlifting 501 kilograms and becoming the heaviest deadlifter of all time, Stan made sure that Hafthor Bjornsson took blood tests, right? And what the blood tests is significant for nutritionists is to determine liver function, because when you are a large individual, you are adding mass to areas, whether you're cognizant of it or not. And one of the things that can happen is you can develop fatty liver disease, which means you've got a little bit too much fat on your liver. And in order to progress further, you need to reduce the amount of fat on your liver, right? Because your optimal potential is determined on how much abuse you can provide to your liver. Because every time that you go to the gym, every time you exert yourself heavily, you are breaking down muscle fibers. You've got muscle cells being broken down and put into the bloodstream. And if you have too much of that, you can develop what's called RADBO, and you end up going to the hospital. This also means that your liver is not functioning at a full capacity, so you may develop an immunocompromise. You may become immunocompromised. Why is this word so hard to say? You can develop something like Crohn's, where your immune system isn't fully functional, and that is no bueno. You're not going to get AIDS or anything, but like you're immunocompromised. That's the word I was looking for. So I recently got my blood work done, and the tells of fatty liver disease did pop up. And my nutritionist, Brianna Terry, and my coach, Joe Sullivan, decided that it was time to address the fatty liver disease so that we can not limit the amount of potential that I can express, not limit the amount of progress that I can make while compensating for the fat content in my liver, right? Because I'm 300. Well, when we first started the progress with the fatty liver disease, I was 338, and now I'm down to 334. Not that it's been any significant amount of time, but we are trying to reduce the amount of fat on my liver so that we can push myself harder and so I can perform much better. Also, avoid being immunocompromised, which, I mean, yeah, that's important, but a bigger total is importanter. Yeah. But anyways, due to that, the diet that I'm on is very different than what I've been doing up to this point, and the amount of wiggle room and leeway that I have been given is absolutely zero, which is a thing. It's, I mean, uh, it kind of, at least I don't have to think about things. That's a plus, because thinking is hard. But also, while we are trying to shed the fat on the liver and deal with this fatty liver disease, we are changing up the way that I'm programmed, right? Which is why Joe's involved in this too. It's not just a nutritional side; it's a programming side too. Because if you push yourself way too much hard, you end up risking RADBO, right? So we are changing the priority. We are reprioritizing different things when it's coming to training. We had a very large amount of volume when it came to progressing with our accessory movements to try and build up um, the stabilizers and the individual muscle groups. But as we progress, our training is going to end up looking a bit more like Jesus Oliveiras's training and Dan Bell's training, where they went really, really, really hard on the main movement, the squat, bench, and deadlift, and then they kind of they did accessories. If you've watched any of Jesus's videos, they do very light accessories, and they focus on main movement. I don't know what their logic is with that. It's probably not the same that I have here, but also when you're dealing, the, your immune system is heavily reliant on your liver, and when you're doing stuff to help recover your liver from things like like alcoholism, drug use, or fatty liver disease, you're not immunocompromised, but you kind of it's like when you try to lose weight, you gain a little weight before you lose some, right? So when you're trying to make your liver function better, it kind of gets worse before it gets better. So I currently have like a sinus infection or a cold or something. I'm totally going to chalk this up to um, it being January and there's a bunch of new people at the gym, and those dirty heathens, you know. Um, but as we address the fatty liver disease, it sucks calling it a disease where it's like, but it's also nobody's fault but my own, because I took way too long to hire a nutritionist, partly being a poor college kid when I first started powerlifting. But that's that. We have a weird day today. We are benching, and then we are squatting, and then we go home. That is it. But first, I need to eat my pre-training meal, which is 200 grams of chicken, 100 grams of carrots, and 27 grams of cashews. The highlight of that is the cashews. That is what keeps my sanity going. But I brought all my food, and I was like, I'm gonna do all the measuring at work because they don't pay me enough to spend my home time to actually care enough about what I do at work for them for me not to measure my food while I'm at work. So I have everything distributed in disposable coffee cups. So I I just have a bag full of disposable coffee cups because I did not fully think my way through how this was going to go. So I do need to pick up some Tupperware later, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but definitely in the future. But we've got bench and squat day. It's almost like competing, but not quite. But let's get it. All right, boys. So today was neither a squat focused nor bench focused day. We kind of focused on them both. We basically took the main movements of both the bench day that we would normally do and the squat day that we would normally do and kind of squish them into one, and then kind of mitigate the accessory movements to later on in the week to basically hypertrophy centric days. So this would kind of be like a neuro drive day where we're trying to center and zone in on the central nervous system and prime that to handle heavier and heavier loads as we get closer and closer to the Ghost Clash 3. So, bench. We worked up to a 2x2, 485 comp pause, and warm ups leading up to that felt stupid light. And 405 is usually when the bench starts to slow down, and it didn't slow down at 405 because I have an issue where my descent speed on bench gets really, really slow, and a lot of people are like, "Wow, that's super good control," and I'm like, "I am in pain. This is not good," because I deal with a lot of inflammation and variables like that. So we we worked up to 485 2x2 comp pause. I believe it was a 4 minute rest period. Um, and it felt really, really light. It felt stupid easy, but still we're dealing with the first rep being super slow and the second rep being fine. And coach thinks that it's some sort of mental issue going on. I don't know, because I prime myself to go as fast as I can every time. I think it's some sort of like the first, it's kind of like when you deadlift and your first rep is trash, but the second rep is always good when you're first starting out as deadlifting. And as you zero in on your form and get better at deadlifting, your form gets better and your deadlifts end up being prettier and more consistent. So your first rep is generally going to be your best rep. But bench, I don't know why that's happening. I don't know. But we the accessory movement after the bench was a banded bench at 345, I believe, and we had about 60 pounds in band tension, which is kind of odd. Being so, the red bands in my gym are super inconsistent, and there are fresh pairs that at this height would have given me about 120 pounds worth of band tension, and then there's off-brand ones and old bands that I was using because the good bands were getting used today, and those only got me about 60 pounds of band tension. I may have wanted to have added like an orange band to pop myself towards that 100-pound worth of band tension threshold, but to each their own. I hadn't even squatted yet. And then we moved on to squats. So coach is implementing a new kind of thing. He's having me doing kind of focused meditation to bring myself to more bodily focus while right before squats. So got me on the Balance app, which hounded me for my debit card information as if I was tunneling under New York City. But I mean, free year trial, whatever. Just got to remember to unsubscribe before the year's end and then sign up with another email, as we all do. But so that was a thing. It was weird. So they've got two voices for the app. One's a male voice, one's a female voice. I started off with the female voice because growing up, my brother always chose the female character when playing like Pokemon and stuff like that. So I thought it was the norm. You always like it's ingrained in me to always choose the female rather than the male. Maybe because my brother's kind of closeted, but he has a kid now, so not closeted enough, I guess. But started off with the female voice, and within 30 seconds, I was like, I can't do this. So she was basically ordering me to be calm, telling me how to breathe, telling me how intense things are going to. Now, I'm a degenerate, right? And I know a lot of you guys are degenerates too. Do y'all know what a JOI is? Because that's exactly what it sounded like, and I could not take it seriously for longer than 30 seconds. I had to stop the guided meditation and switch to the male voice, which why the fuck are they trying to seduce you with their the vibrato, the masculinity of their, like, why? It was like oddly sexual. I don't get it. But I did the focused meditation. I was like, this is, now that I'm soft, this is weird that it works, and I'm more in tune with how things are going. But so we got started with squats. We warmed up to 455, and we had 6-count descents or 6-count eccentrics, where we basically I didn't count. Let's be honest, I didn't count. I just went as slow as possible, and then we squatted, and then we threw on the bands. Now I used the good bands, and so I think the bands are just getting overly used, and they're getting kind of loose, which is why I don't like band tension, because they can get loose like this. So I loaded up, and I didn't even check the band tension. Coach was like, just use whatever band tension you used last time, or the same band setup, because usually he's like a range from like 65 to 100. And I guess last time I went for like 80, 85. And I checked the band tension after squats today, and it was about 80, 85. But that was disappointing because I thought it was closer to 100. I should have added a little orange band to help things along, but I didn't. So we worked up to 645, 3x2. By the time I hit my top set, the gym was completely empty. Everyone was done for the day. I was alone in the gym. So I got to put on my own music, and no one could complain about it, because I have a playlist that is full of good music. Every single song is good, but the songs do not necessarily mean that match. They don't match. But every single song is good, and everyone's like, this is like the most ADHD playlist ever imagined, but every song is good. But we can't handle this. So sometimes, like, it'll go from like Not the American Average by Asking Alexandria down to an Andrea Bocelli song. So it's like it's you get audio whiplash, which is admittedly an acquired taste, and I have acquired that taste. but very few people in the world have acquired that taste. But 3x2, the first set sucked. Second set, a little better. Third set, better. The best set. I had to think about it for a second. But it's like I recovered from the first set faster than I recovered from the other sets. And by the time I was getting under the bar for the third set, I felt depleted, if that makes sense. Well, it does make sense because the structure of the new diet plan to deal with the fatty liver that my coach and nutritionist have devised for me has me eating all my carbs after training. So I have not had a single carb yet today, and I'm about to go eat all my carbs for the day. So I'm really hungry, and I'm likely very, very grumpy. So I'm gonna go leave you people, and I do mean you people, you handsome people, because I gotta be on target 100% every single day for the next 11 to 37 weeks, so that I can perform at my maximal potential, because I'm competing at the Ghost Clash 3. And then we have the Voldemort meet in September, likely either the 6th or 7th in Salt Lake City, Utah. But the all the details of that, the sanctioning and the gimmick, whatnot, all the competitors, and because they've already chosen all the competitors, they're having all of us to like participate in the planning for the meet, which is really cool because they're letting us choose the bars and everything, but we're not allowed to talk too much about it. It's sometime in September, probably like the 6th or 7th, and it's in Utah, Salt Lake City. And the funny part is it is an untested meet. This isn't any sort of an announcement. I'm just really excited for it. The venue that they're looking at for the meet is right across the street from USAPL Nationals. So it's like you get the pristine prima donna ballerinas, the drugs are bad crew, and then right across the street you get the watch out for needles because it might be littered on the ground crew, which is fantastical. I love it. But they have us all in a group chat. We're all talking shenanigans already, and it's actually fun to plan this one because there's a lot of things going on, and we're all really excited for it. So it's going to be a good meet when they finally announce the sponsors, the official location, the time, the gimmick, and all the athletes who have already been selected for this first iteration of this meet, and the prize money and everything like that, because it's going to change powerlifting for the better, for sure. Anyways, I am it's way too late. I woke up late this morning, which meant I left work late, which meant I got to the gym late, which meant I trained late, and I am super late. I'm like a period, except instead of celebrating that I finally came late, I'm just suffering. Well, I guess I mean, like, if you're a chick, you would suffer because it's a period, but like every time a man hears "I'm on my period," they go, "Oh," but also internally they're like, "Yes," because like, oh, but like, yeah, exactly. There's a thought process there. I'm just too out of it to you guys are smart. Put it together for me, and I'm gonna go eat because I'm zoned. I'm tapped. My brain is a thing right now. So you guys stay degenerate. I'm gonna be degenerate too, and I'm gonna go eat all my carbs for the day. Anyways, Patty out.